see all of you, so I'm gonna turn the light back on. Oh, and if you haven't signed in, the sign-in sheet is up here at our break. We're gonna take a break in just a little while. All right, community resources. So remember, if I refer mom to the family planning clinic or to get an HIV test or whatever, where does that go? Contact logs, information. Oh, I knew you guys were paying attention. I thought Joyce said he did. Does everybody feel a little more comfortable with Optima?
Do you have a set date for the training in July?
No, I don't, but I will. I gotta give Joyce a break. She just did training on Saturday. I gotta like warm her up to the actual. All right, Child Protective Services, here's their address and their phone number. I will tell you that what they have now is a recording. You have to push English, press 1 for English, plus 2 for Spanish. You have to make a choice before you hit 0 for the operator, just FYI. So there they are, 2400 Osborne Lane. It's kind of where, well, you'll guys put it in your GPS, but it's Villa Maria turns into 23rd Street, and it's right there at the corner. Okay, you'll go there to observe visits. If they're CPS supervised, those are the only visits that we are required to observe. I would encourage you to observe other visits as well to see how mom and kids are getting along, how mom's doing on her parenting. I keep saying mom, there's dads too. Okay, 211. This is probably the best resource. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a problem. And I want, thanks Kathy for your help. I want you guys as a table, somebody call 211. You can dial it from your cell phone. You can dial it from a landline. This is going to be the best resource you're going to give parents. So you guys call 211 and find an answer to this problem.
Yeah, I do. Call me.
Yeah, for real. Yep, 211. And so I'm going to give you a few minutes to get the answer, and then we'll share with the class.
What question are we answering?
We're trying to find this.
Just finding out information.
Yeah, find out information, yeah, about low cost. What is yours?
Low cost daycare.
Low cost daycare. We need access to food. Well, it could be that they have other things too. What is yours? Substance use treatment, inpatient treatment, that's right.
We're looking for low-cost daycare options in our area.
Actually stay on hold until it gets slammed.
Especially since we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups calling all at once. Yeah.
Has anybody got a real person yet?
No.
They're closed.
No, they're 24 hours.
We got some
It's
jazzy,
answered. Huh?
we got some jazzy waiting music.
I think this is so interesting. Nobody's got no person.
Well, their wards are flooded.
I need 15
People sitting there and they're like,
no, ask your zip code. Your zip code.
Oh, we're just trying to find it.
So we can, if someone answers, we can probably just say,
You can do it online if you want. It's always good to
my
call.
phone. You can probably just ask, I'm looking for low cost, hopefully it's high care.
Low care.
Low cost daycare options in my area. Or should we look at age range?
well, if they carry around the
Oh, yeah. I just think we actually had people calling ours and were like, I can't deal with my dog anymore. Maybe we can call our office. There's a store here, and I'm like, we only deal with children that are in foster care.
All right, has anybody had any luck
Really
yet?
awkward.
No luck?
Like, we're
Okay, luck?
Is this a study on how
How
well they
helpful?
answer?
Yeah.
If I was a parent doing this, I would have done that.
Okay.
Somebody got up and went to the bathroom, right?
And then we're gonna come back and it's just like exploded with snowballs.
Seth, you never got a person?
They keep on referring me to yourtexasbenefits.com.
Okay, let's go ahead and hang up if you're hanging, yeah, because this will take forever. But Marissa did say something. She said if I was a parent trying to do this, I'd have hung up already.
Yeah.
All right, so don't ask anybody to call a place or do anything that you haven't done first, so you can tell them what it's like. 211 is great. Somebody else said they got great stuff online. Do all parents have access to the internet? Not necessarily. If you were with the parent, could you say, let's look that up real quick on 211? Sure, that's an option. Do you want to give them your phone?
No.
No. Don't give them your phone. But they may have access to the internet, they may not. But this is still the best resource. Now, from 8 to 5, it's answered locally. After 5, it's answered in Houston, but they have statewide information. So they're always going to ask for some basic demographics, and they're always going to ask your zip code so they can give you information to your specific area. So those are the kinds of things you want to tell mom and dad or kid or whoever you're giving this information to so they'll know what to expect when they call. But if you want to give them the phone number to BB Casa, and we'll go through all these, if you want to give them a phone number, you might just give it a call, find out, if you have time. Try that resource first so we know what we're sending people to. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. All right, see, we're just a phone call away. Apparently not. All right, early childhood intervention. We've talked about this several times in training. This is one of your best resources. This is for children 0 to 3. And this is to find out if they have any type of developmental delay. So if anybody can make a referral to ECI. In general, CPS will make the referral, but you can make the referral. Anybody can refer. Income level doesn't matter. There may be a small payment if they have high income, but it doesn't matter. And they provide occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy. If a child is born with a congenitive disability, a congenitive problem, they help with that. So a disability or delay in development. If they're accepted into the ECI program, they automatically get help from the school district after the age of 3. So that's how it works. Up to the age of 3, on their 3rd birthday, they get referred to the school district if their problem hasn't been resolved. Okay?
Kate, they've actually moved. I don't think they're on Memorial anymore.
They're not with the
They're-
Brazos Valley Rehab anymore? No, they're with Easter Seals.
They're over by like that Whataburger and the Cool Dentistry Smiles.
Oh, I'm
place.
so glad I thought the person that was helping me today had double checked all these.
I think they still have that online, but I applied for a job there a while ago and I drove over there and they weren't over there. So
Texas is a bill for you?
it's at it's like Texas and University, like right by the Whataburger, like across the street from the Verizon store.
Oh, okay, I know where you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll call first.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where they're located. All right, Head Start. Everybody know what Head Start is? There is early Head Start, which is 0 to 3, and then Head Start is 3 years old. By September 1, they can get into Head Start. It is a terrific early education for kids. Yes.
My youngest siblings, when they were foster children still, they were put to Head Start.
Uh-huh.
It helped a lot because my younger sister, or all of my siblings, they were all taken for drug charges. So they were all drug babies and they were all going through withdrawals and all that. So one of my sisters is very severe dyslexia, and going through Head Start helped considerably because they caught that before she got into like
Regular
actual school.
Great. Yes.
I'm assuming, well, I shouldn't assume, EDCA is what, income-based? Is this what
Right,
income-based?
Head Start is income-based. Yes,
Well,
but
after-
foster kids,
yeah,
foster children automatically qualify.
And after they're adopted as well.
Right.
Adopted children do too.
Yeah, so that the income doesn't apply to these kids. But yes, for other people, it is income-based. Child Care Management Services, CCMS, one of the best things going. If you work full-time, if you work part-time, or you're a full-time student, as long as you got 20 hours of something, you qualify for CCMS. It's basic, there's a bunch of paperwork to fill out. My daughter used to work there. It's just shuffling papers. But they will pay for daycare. All kids in CPS have CCMS daycare, okay? So it's subsidized daycare, not all of it, but some of it. What's good about this is, let's say my mom has been keeping my kids, and now I don't know if they do that, let me take that back. It used to be you get your family member license, you could pay your family member to take care of your kids. I don't know if that's true anymore. It's for eligible families, and so they do have to be working or in school. Okay? Somebody in the house has to be working or in school. At least 25 hours, I'm sorry, I said 20, it's 25. Be within the income guidelines, reside in one of the 7 counties, and it's provide documentation. It is a lot of paperwork, so parents may get frustrated. Find out the education level of your parents. See if it's okay to help them with the applications. And this would be when kids are being returned, okay? Because CPS is providing daycare while they're in foster care. Oh yeah, and they have to, if they're not getting child support, they have to participate with the Attorney General to try to get child support. Okay. Women, Infant, and Children, who has heard of the WIC program? All right, it's excellent. It's a great program for kids, for moms, women who are pregnant, breastfeeding, or had a baby in the past 6 months, infants from birth to 1, and children up to 5. Yeah.
I have a note about this, just FYI. Target is really bad at handling WIC.
Yeah.
So do not recommend that they go use WIC at Target.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most grocery stores, you've seen it, right? It'll say WIC approved.
HEB is really good.
HEB is really good. Yep. All right. Single Moms Created for Change. This is a local resource. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's for single moms or moms who are parenting by themselves. So maybe my husband works in the oil field and he's gone all the time. So I really am a single parent most of the time. They do all kinds of things. Mom's Closet, parenting classes, services beneficial to moms, and so they do some domestic violence intervention. They do all kinds of great things. The woman who started this was actually a mentor, Raquel. I don't know if she was in your class or not. Raquel Moscow. Yeah, she's fantastic. Anyway, they're over on Eleanor Street across from the Lincoln Center. Mental health, mental retardation in the Brazos Valley. Now, most mental health and mental retardation authorities have changed their name because nobody says mental retardation anymore. We say intellectual disability. And so a lot of them have changed their names. For some reason, they haven't changed their name yet. They have they're at 804 South Texas for their clinic. Some of their case management and stuff is over at 1504 South Texas, which is right next door to Furniture Shack. It's a public, non-profit center, so it's not a state agency. MHMR centers are not state agencies. They're what's called an agency of the state. They provide core services that must be provided in every community. So mental health assessments for intellectual disability, those kinds of things. So most of the parents on our cases are going to be going to MHMR for their evaluations or to a psychologist for an evaluation. What you need to know, and I know Jessie talked a lot about what their services were when she talked about mental illness, is that they serve a very narrow population. And so your mom or your dad on your case may have a mental health issue, but they may not qualify for MHMR services. It's a pretty narrow window. Bipolar disorder, major depression, and I think it's major depression with psychotic features, or schizophrenia, the 3 big ones. 3 major mental illnesses. Okay? So it can be very frustrating, but they do serve 7 counties. So they've got offices in all of the Brazos Valley. Health for All. This is really good. So daytime hours, walk-ins only as space in the schedule allows. Evening is by appointment only. And then they do have 1 weekend clinic. So they are on 29th Street, kind of near the hospital. They used to do psychotropic medications. I don't know if they still do it. No? Okay. But it's for no insurance. So if you have no insurance.
What would they go there for, like?
Anything, health checkup, medication, blood pressure, diabetes.
That's a lot of blood pressure.
A lot of high blood pressure.
So is this on a sliding scale?
It's on a sliding scale or free of charge, yes, thank you. County Health Department has, yeah, so it is income-based. Health Department is income-based, also has an immunization clinic, an adult health clinic, STD clinic, they also do HIV testing, tuberculosis. Now, if a person is diagnosed with tuberculosis, and let me just tell you, it's really hard to catch, right? You get a tuberculosis test and it blows up, right? It's a little bubble, and if it gets bigger, all it means is you've been exposed to tuberculosis. Then you have to go get a chest x-ray to see if you actually have tuberculosis. It's very hard to catch. A person has to have active tuberculosis, and you have to be near them while they're coughing. It is really hard to catch. But if you're in jail, if you're in a residential treatment center setting, if you're in a psychiatric hospital, a place where a lot of people are all using the same ventilation system, it's a whole lot easier. Okay. But they will, if you have tuberculosis, the health department will pay for your medication. So just a little FYI. And so they are right over here. I was about to say in the old Safeway, that's really dating me. Over here on William Joe Bryan, at the corner of William Joe Bryan in Texas. Really a great service. But they are pretty much 8 to 5. They have some after hours, but not a lot. Okay. Health Point, formerly Bryan College Station Community Health Clinic. It's the Federally Qualified Health Care Clinic, FQHC. They're all over now. They're Navasota, Caldwell, College Station, Bryan, people without insurance, people with Medicaid, Medicare, or CHIP, and also on a sliding scale, and people who have insurance. And it's just a full-service clinic. Anything you can imagine, you can get there. Yes,
They're also in Madisonville.
thank you.
So,
And they're also in Franklin.
Franklin, Madisonville, yes, Jane?
The kids in foster care have Medicare, right?
Correct, they have Medicaid.
They have Medicaid. What about the parents? The parents may not?
May not.
Okay.
What was your question?
What is the sliding?
Sliding scale means that it's based on your income. So when I worked for family planning, most people pay, it was on a sliding scale based on their income, and for a year of birth control, they would pay at a maximum $10. That was the highest fee we had generally. I know, don't you always should know that? I don't know, it just always surprised me that it was so low.
For health point clinics, they will require that you have an appointment first for eligibility.
Okay.
And so what you'll need to bring, or advise the parents, they need to bring an ID, proof of insurance, proof of residency, any birth certificates or social security cards that they can get a hold of. They won't stop your appointment if you don't have these things, but it's really beneficial to have it the first time you're there. That way they can go ahead, that day that they create your eligibility, they will also give you an appointment.
Great, that's
Most
good
of the time,
insight.
you won't have both the same day, so it's a little discouraging if they don't know that, because they expect to go to the eligibility appointment and have an appointment as well, but
It's
a lot of
just for
times,
eligibility.
yeah, we couldn't accommodate that, so we would do eligibility and then have a separate day for.
Okay, that's good to know.
So it's CPS who sets the kids up. with
Right,
these different
CPS sets them up
services.
with their Medicaid, and
Okay.
Medicaid, even after they're adopted, they have Medicaid forever.
But we won't, but we're not telling the
No.
kids, oh,
No.
you need to go to health.
Right,
clinic.
right, the kids, well, this is just kind of general information for people out in the community. Yeah, the kids, the foster parents know, and our relative placements are making their appointments, yes.
Does the Medicaid end if they get, if they go back with their parents?
Sometimes. Yeah, just depends on the income, because sometimes parents didn't know they had access to Medicaid, so the whole family will qualify, and they may just not have had it or known about it. Somebody else have a question over here? Okay. All right. Brazos Valley Council on Alcohol and Substance Abuse, lovely Bibi Casa. I worked there too. Where haven't I worked? That's what I want to know. I've been doing the same thing for a long time, but I've been doing it at a lot of different places. So, intensive outpatient, adolescent treatment, supportive outpatient, no inpatient. There is no inpatient treatment facility in the Brazos Valley. They're gonna go to Waco, Houston, Conroe. And a lot of our parents are asking for inpatient treatment, and they've gotta travel to get it. So I was in a child welfare board meeting the other day, and the caseworker paid for a bus ticket to get mom and rode the bus, or sometimes CPS will transport parents. This mother, they believe, would actually get there and go to treatment without an escort, so they put her on a bus, and child welfare board paid the bus ticket. So, Yeah, substance abuse treatment is one of the hardest things to get. A lot of the parents are going to their alcohol and drug assessments with BB CASA, then to having to access services outside of BB CASA. And usually BB CASA is pretty good at facilitating that, but not always. Okay. Lincoln House of Hope, then another great thing going on in College Station right across from the Lincoln Center. They provide a counseling center, a WIC clinic, a food pantry, GED classes, and at last check had substance abuse counseling as well. I don't know if that's still in effect, but this is a great, great resource in the community. Financial education, A&M Church of Christ, it's at the Lincoln House of Hope. $20 for the workbook, but if you can't afford it, they'll give you the workbook. They have scholarships for that. This is a great resource. I don't know about you, but nobody really explained to me managing money. You know, not really until I was a teenager and in college. And do you think I was very good at it? No, I was terrible at it. But that's just me. And so if we can help our parents get some financial education, this is really valuable. Affordable housing. Down payment assistance, home loans, home buyers counseling. Not many of the folks we're working with are going to be here. They're going to be in housing assistance, which is what you think of when you think of Section 8 or HUD housing. That's what this is. So when you hear people say Section 8 or HUD, this is a housing voucher program. So if an apartment complex or a duplex or whatever accepts HUD, it means they pay the apartment person, the landlord directly, and then the tenant pays whatever's left. So, but it's pretty strict. So former foster youth are high up on the list of getting it. Usually they have over a year waiting list. Then they'll open the waiting list, take a bunch of people off of it, and they'll close it again for up to a year or 2 years. The things that put you at the top of the list are former foster youth, severe mental illness, other disabilities can kind of put you at the top. But they give preference to people who are homeless or living in substandard housing, paying more than 50% of income in rent, or involuntarily displaced. But again, the waiting list is pretty long. It's a federal program, but it's paid directly to the landlord. So I know people that are paying $150, $200 a month for a 3-bedroom apartment because HUD is subsidizing the rest of it. Okay? Pretty strict rules. You can't have people that don't honor on the lease living in your apartment, can't hang out in the parking lot. I mean, there's all kinds of rules. And if you get caught breaking the rules, you can't ever get HUD again. If you're a convicted felon, you cannot get HUD. Which is amazing to me that we say we want to rehabilitate people and they come out and they can't get a job and they can't get an apartment and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, but that's just my opinion. And again, a waiting list. Project Unity, they do some parenting, they do divorce support group, divorce information. I said that seminars, poverty. They do a lot with poverty. They have a food pantry. What's called special health services, which is HIV case management. And all of this is mostly, Safe Harbor Supervised Visitation Center. So you guys may come in contact with that. That is not CPS supervised, but it could be that mom and dad got a divorce and the judge wants supervised visitation with one parent or both parents. That's where that'll happen. It was actually a project of Voices for Children in the beginning, like the UP program, which was our mentor program, which Eleanor was a mentor. And so it was outside the scope of our mission in general, so we gave it a good kiss goodbye and sent it off to another agency with a grant to fund it for the first year. So, and that's what we're doing with the UP program. Thank you. All right, we'll see you next time. Come back to work tomorrow. Utility assistance. This is a big one. You know, my bill is due. It's due tomorrow, and I owe for 3 months. So utility assistance is one of the biggest things that people ask for. This is really for elderly and disabled crisis. They may have a co-pay program, and then they do have a case management program. So this is through BBCAA, which BBCAA doesn't even exist anymore, does it?
It does. It just broke off the clinics.
Clinics, okay. BBCAA stands for Brazos Valley Community Action Agency. Community action agencies were a big push in the war on poverty in the 1960s, early 70s, and so lots of counties have community action agencies, and they do a lot of different things. It's a good resource. Your churches are gonna be an excellent resource for utility help, Salvation Army, St. Vincent de Paul. I will tell you that places like the Salvation Army and St. Vincent de Paul have a lot of money the first 3 days of the month, and then it's gone. Okay, not a lot, some, I should say some money. So that's a resource also, your churches, Salvation Army, and St. Vincent de Paul for utilities. Workforce Solutions, job seekers, they also do GED programs. What else do I want to say about workforce? So they'll help you find a job. They also have now vocational rehabilitation services, and so if you have a disability or you have an impediment to employment, let's say I was a truck driver and I hurt my back and I can't drive truck anymore, they'll help retrain you and help you find a job. So it's for that kind of thing, or if I'm blind or hard of hearing, I need assistance finding a job, they'll help with those kind of disabilities as well. Okay? Legal aid, just what it sounds like. It's on 29th Street now. This is where I refer parents. I get a lot of calls about child custody and other things. They think we advocate for kids other than foster kids. So I send a lot of people to legal aid. But remember, all our parents in general have attorneys. Depends on which county you're working in. Literacy and learning. This is statewide. There's a hotline. And it's at Texas A&M, house at Texas A&M. GED, lots and lots of our parents and kids need their GED. They do it the same place where Workforce is, this Center for Regional Services. Have any of you seen it on 29th Street? It's at the corner of 29th and Carter Creek. It's huge.
I have to go there for training a lot.
Huh?
I have to go there for training a lot.
Yeah, CCMS is over there also. Okay? It's computer-based. One-on-one assistance every Friday, and classes are free. This is a great resource.
Do they get free materials as well?
I don't know. That's a really good question. Probably, but I'm not sure. Now, Bryan Library and the College Station Library have free computer classes. No RSVP required. Both are on the trolley route. Free internet or computer use. So in this day and age, it's hard to even fill out a job application if you don't have a computer, right? So parents can go to the library as long as they get a library card, which is free. You just have to have a driver's license. They can use this resource.
Library, gone?
No, Ringer Library.
So they're just remote.
They're remodeling
Oh,
it,
okay.
yeah. Which I hope they're making it bigger. It's kind of small.
They are.
They are making it bigger. Oh, great. I love the library. When I was a kid, this is one of my favorite memories. My mom and my dad and I would go to the library every Saturday to check out books. And my mom would check out, and I didn't know then, she kind of skims and reads trash. But she would check out like 10 books at a time. You know, I was so impressed with that. No, she belongs to a book club, and she told me this the other day, you don't really have to read the book to come to book club. What's the point? Oh, we just get together. Sometimes we talk about books. Okay, so this in preparation for adult living is through Child Protective Services. We've talked about PAL a lot. These are courses that CASAs should know about. You can, I think Joyce talked about it on Saturday. A person that the kid couldn't get to the classes, so their CASA volunteers working with them one-on-one to go through all sections of the book. They get a stipend for completing PAL, and it makes them eligible for other things. So it's something required. They need to start doing this. They need to start thinking about it when they're about 14, and they have to start taking the classes by 16. Okay. Twin City Mission, great program. They do youth and family services, so you may hear that your kid, before they came into foster care, was going to STAR counseling. I'd love to tell you it's a licensed counselor, but it's not. So they call it counseling, but I use that term loosely. It's more intervention. Schools may send kids to the STAR program. Okay. Domestic violence, they run Phoebe's Home Domestic Violence Shelter. It's in a secure location. I know where it is, but I can't tell you. Actually, I have no idea what the address is. I just know how to get there. And then they have the homeless shelter, which is what everybody thinks about when you think about the mission. It's over on Randolph Street. They have a family shelter, men and women's shelter. Donation and resale. So I'm going to encourage you to give all of your stuff you were going to give to Salvation Army and to St. Vincent. They're all good, but Twin City Missions, like Goodwill, their money doesn't stay local. They send some of their money to the Houston area. And so I feel really strongly we should all give to money that stays here in this community. So Twin City Mission, all their money stays local. Just a little FYI for you. So you can get on their website and see everything that they do, but it's really a good program. It's one of the oldest established resources in the community. All right, I'm going to click on this for you. Will you pass these out?
I'm really just giving, take one pass.
Yep, take one and pass it. Okay, so I'm passing out this link, and I can share this with you, but I just wrote it down for you because I forgot to add it till right before we were having class. This is from the Texas Children's Commission. Okay, so resources here. So you can see child safety, CPS, family visitation and CPS cases, foster care and education laws. So there's a lot. Now this means your parent has to be pretty literate, has to have access to the internet, but you can have access to this and print out anything you want off of here and give it to the parents on your case. But this is the Texas Children's Commission that put this together. This is really good. The bench book. It's good for you to know. It's what the lawyers, what they give to lawyers. So you can see status hearing, checklist, permanency hearing before final order. So you can see what the lawyers are looking at, and what all of this information is available to parents and to you. Okay. Human trafficking checklist in case you want to start some human trafficking. Isn't that what that sounds like? Human trafficking checklist. It's ridiculous. I would have used a different name. All right. Exactly. Grocery list, human trafficking list. All right. What question? There are so many resources in the community. 211, as you can see, is hard to use, but it really is the best thing going. So if you can get through that and explain to parents that they're going to have to wait, that they're going to have to give demographic information, that they'll have to give their zip code, and that they'll have to be patient, it really does give you a host of resources.
If we find something that we want to print out and then give to a parent or something like that, is it fine for us to just print it on our own printer and send it, or do we have to?
No, you can do that. You can send it to me and I'll print it for you. It's however you want to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, that's fine. Okay, so there are so many, when I was at United Way, see, I did all these things, with 211, see, when 211 started, I was one of the people that answered the phone. It was really fun. It was a long time ago, year 2000, 2001. We were just getting it up and going, and you just had a little headset, and you just got in your database and told. So that's what I was thinking it was still like, but apparently you have to hold for a long time. It's now statewide. It's actually nationwide. Call centers are nationwide, but so the database is all of Texas. That's why you give your zip code, and they are the emergency management deploying, telling you where to evacuate, where you can go, what shelter you go to, all that kind of stuff. So that's just a little FYI for you. Should there be a hurricane. Taylor lives in Galveston.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Let's look at, I had 2 questions left on the parking lot. Special unknown services to assist parents and children. We kind of went over that, but Google it. You know, if you're unsure, ask your supervisor or call me. I really have done community resources for a long time. So call me, and if I don't know it, I'll look it up for you. Or you can just Google what your problem is and just make sure you put in Bryan, Texas, or whatever city the parents are living in. And then translators or access to foreign language speakers. The court has to provide a translator. And then we have CASAs who translate for other CASAs on their CASA visits. Okay, mostly Spanish. I would say that's the only kind of translator we have right now. No other language, no sign language, and no other foreign language. But that's what we have access to now.
Kate, do you get families that speak other languages?
I haven't come across that yet. It's been Spanish. Yeah.
And
got people who help you translate Spanish. It's like us, one of us comes in.
Another cost of volunteer, I have a lot of native, not a lot, I have 3 native speakers.
So it couldn't be a friend of like the training that we're doing, so like
It
my
could-
fiance's full Spanish speaking. Like,
Yeah, it could be if he comes through the training and gets his fingerprints and all of that,
Okay.
okay? Speaking of fingerprints, I'm still waiting on one, got yours. If you got your fingerprints over the weekend, give me your receipt and help me check your name off this list. Now, you can come, if you haven't gotten your fingerprints, thank you, Anthony. Anybody else got a receipt for me? I picked some up before training. All right, you can come to swearing in. You can even take the oath, but we won't get your badge signed or have you take a case until your fingerprints are done. But I want everybody to come tomorrow. Oh, she's so excited, she made cookies. That is great. All right, let's go look at the board right over here that says expectations. I want you to find the ones you put on the first day. If they've been met, take your note off.